Using the power of Neat Pulse, I can remote control my Neat Bar Pro. You can see the front of room display here and the Neat Pad. So I've got a scheduled meeting set up here. Let's join that and I'll show you the initial view before we set the default camera framing options. There's my friends. Looks like Terry's about to go for a ride. Yeah, so I haven't set the default camera framing option at the moment. So currently it's just no framing whatsoever. So for the remote people, that's the worst possible view because you don't see the facial expressions and the non-verbal communication cues. So let's hang up that call and dump into the system settings and I'll show you where to set the default framing for all new Teams meetings. You do need a Teams Room Pro license to be able to set your default camera framing options. So we're jumping into the settings, device settings, sign in with the password you have set. The beauty of using Neat Pulse is I don't need to use the on-screen keyboard. I can use my actual laptop keyboard to type that in, so it's a bit easier. Let's scroll down to the bottom, go into Teams, and then Teams admin settings. Click on devices. We want to select the room camera because this is where we're going to set the default group framing options. So at the moment you can see the framing is turned off, so turn enhanced framing on. And we want to select the composite one here, which we called Neat Symmetry. This is our individual people framing technology. You could also enable a local camera PTZ control through the Microsoft Teams user interface during a meeting, but I'll show you something else about how to do that in a second. So now that we've set that default, all new meetings are going to use composite or individual person framing for every new meeting. So let's back out of the system settings and the Teams admin settings, and we'll jump back into that meeting again. Backing all the way out of the settings there. And now when we join the meeting, you'll see the default kick in. So initially it'll find the view of the room and then it starts to recalibrate. And there we go. So now we've got a default. So it always will use Neat Symmetry or the composite view, that individual person framing. So the other thing to note is on the Neat slide out menu here on the right hand side of the Neat pad, or it's also available on the Neat board if you're using a Neat board. We can change the settings now. We can choose to use just group framing to group everybody in the room. We have active speaker here now, or speaker focus. So whoever the active speaker is, the camera will automatically frame up and zoom up on them. It'll also frame the second active speaker. So if two people are talking, it'll show them in two windows, much like Neat Symmetry or composite. And we also have the manual PTZ controls here. So if I start zooming in, so this PTZ control is on the Neat slide out menu. And it actually uses the full capabilities of Neat's telephoto and wide angle lenses that are built in. So as you can see there, I've got full PTZ control. And then if I zoom back out, oh, actually I don't even need to zoom back out. Let's just turn framing back on just to get back into a nice clean view for my meeting. So that's how you set your default camera framing options on your Neat device for a Microsoft Teams Room Pro device.